guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we are going to be talking about my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2024. Now, whenever I do this list, I always have to have the disclaimer that these are my most anticipated movies as of right now. As the year starts going on, it never fails. There's usually films that get announced that I wasn't aware of, that find out they're coming out in 2024, that they probably would have made the list if I was aware of them. So, and I'm sure this year will be no different. There will be a bunch of films that come out that didn't know were coming out. Usually it's like the smaller indie type of films that I really enjoy. So just wanted to give you that preface, and also some of the movies, I believe most of these on here are slated to come out for 2024, pending we don't have any delays, as far as like the strikes that we had this past year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And before we get into the top 10, there's just a couple films I wanted to mention that almost like an honorable mentions for my most anticipated for the year. One of those being Twisters, the sequel to Twister that came out in the 90s. If you guys grew up in the 90s, this was a big film when it came out. I'm really looking forward to see what they can do with the sequel. So far, what I've seen from the cast, I do like what I'm seeing. So not quite in the top 10, but definitely something that I'm going to be looking forward to. And I don't know the exact date, but I'm sure it's probably coming out like late spring or midsummer, somewhere around there. But really looking forward to that one. All right, up next we have the untitled Universal Monster movie, which from what I've seen is supposed to be based off Dracula's daughter, and it's going to be starring Melissa Barrera, and it's done by Radio Silence. Definitely a film that I'm really looking forward to. I grew up on the Universal classic monster movies. Those were a big part of my childhood. Obviously, they kind of failed with what they were doing with the Dark Universe, but I really enjoyed The Invisible Man that came out a couple years ago. So, in Radio Silence, what they've done with Scream, I really like that. So, curious to see what they're going to do, and just to see what Melissa Barrera can do in another, horror-based film. So, really looking forward to that. The next one is going to be The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. I mean, that combo right there, if that doesn't sell it. But I like the premise behind this film. Basically, Ryan Gosling, he is a stuntman or a double. And one day he's working on a set that's being directed by Emily Blunt, and the main actor of the film goes missing, and he has to step in and figure out, what's going on and rescue that actor. I just like the idea of like a stuntman, a double, being kind of the main star of the film. And from what we've seen at the trailer, it looks like it's just going to be a lot of fun. So really looking forward to this one. Two phenomenal actors leading the project, and I believe there's I want to say Aaron Taylor-Johnson is the lead that goes missing. A bunch of other people in the film as well, so can't wait to see this one. All right, at number 10 we have Joker 2. So this, I loved the original film, and I am really looking forward to Joker 2. It has a lot of potential. I am a little worried where it's kind of been like, oh, this is a musical, it isn't a musical, it's going to have musical numbers, so we don't kind of know where it's falling as far as that goes. I know there's definitely going to be some music in there, because you got Lady Gaga who's playing Harley Quinn. I think she's going to nail that role, so I can't wait to see what she does with that character. Joaquin Phoenix again as Joker, just kind of getting to flesh him out a little bit more. So yeah, definitely something that has a lot of potential, and it could, at the very end of the year, it could be at the the top of my list. But yeah, really looking forward to Joker 2, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the full name for it, because I know I'm going to screw it up. At number 9, we have Death of a Unicorn. So this is the one film I'm not 100% sure if it is going to come out in 2024. So it sounds like it's going to, and it's probably going to be later in the year. But if it is, man, you got Jenna Ortega in here. You got Paul Rudd. I believe I saw that John Carpenter was working on the score, and then it's by A24. I mean, what a freaking combo right there. And basically, it's Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega's character. They're driving. They end up hitting a unicorn. They take it back and start studying its properties. And then once they do, they come across some like deadly consequences. So the idea and the concept sounds really interesting. And with the talent behind this film, yeah, sign me up right now. At number 8, we have Dune Part 2. So this was one of my most anticipated movies of this past year, but due to the strike, and it ended up getting bumped to 2024. So obviously it was going to make my list. I love the original film. Can't wait to see what they do with Part 2 from the trailers that we've gotten. It looks amazing. Definitely going to be something that I'm going to be seeing in IMAX or Dolby for sure. So yeah, that's why it's in my top 10 of the year. At number 7, we have Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I absolutely loved Ghostbusters Afterlife when that came out a couple years ago. It was one of my favorite films of the year. And so naturally the sequel is going to be one of my most anticipated when it came out. And I really like that it seems like they're going in a different direction. Yes, they're going back to New York City, but we get a new villain in the film. Getting to see Paul Rudd be a Ghostbuster, I'm really excited for that. We get some of the original cast back as well. So yeah, can't wait to see this film. At number 6, we have Furiosa, the latest Mad Max film. I mean, from the trailer alone, I was sold. You got Anya Taylor-Joy, which she's one of my favorite actresses working today. You also got Chris Hemsworth, which initially watching the trailer, I didn't realize that was him who's playing the bad guy in the film. So that kind of blew my mind once I realized that's who it was. And yeah, just from the trailer, this is definitely going to be another one of those movies that I want to see it on the biggest screen possible. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. And I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy, she's already huge, but I think this, just might even like put her to that next level. All right, so next up is Aliens Romulus. So this is directed by Fede Alvarez, which he did the Evil Dead remake back several years ago. He also did, I believe, Don't Breathe. So I really like the guy's previous work. Curious to see what he can do with an alien film. I feel like it's definitely gonna have a lot of gore. I think might actually make it scary again. And it's supposed to take place between Alien 1 and then Aliens. So that's interesting, and just getting to see the Xenomorph back on the big screen. Originally, I think it was supposed to be on Hulu, but they're putting it in theaters, which I think is really smart, because I was really kind of disappointed that Prey didn't get a theatrical release. So good on you guys. I can't wait to check this one out. At number 4, we got Nosferatu. So yeah, one of my most anticipated horror movies of this next year. It comes out towards the end of the year. I believe it has a release date of Christmas, but Robert Eggers, man, one of my favorite directors working today. The only film I wasn't huge on of his was The Lighthouse. That was just really too freaking weird for me. But I mean, I loved everything else that he's done. The Witch, one of my favorite modern horror movies. And then The Northman, really enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite films when that came out a few years ago. So yeah, Nosferatu, and from what I've heard, like interviews and stuff like that, they're really trying to make this scary, has like a gothic, feel to it, and the cast is insane. You got Bill Skarsgård playing Nosferatu, and I believe Eggers said that you can't even recognize that it's him. Willem Dafoe's in the movie, so just a stacked cast, and you can say a lot of things about Eggers, but when it comes to like the details of the atmosphere in his film, he really goes all out. So I can't wait to see what he does with Nosferatu. At number 3, we have MaXXXine, the concluding chapter to the trilogy. First we had X, Pearl, and now we have MaXXXine. MaXXXine takes place after the events of what happened in X. Mia Goth, man, if they can nail this third part in the trilogy, it's definitely going to be one of my favorite horror trilogies of all time. I've loved those first 2 films. They've both been my favorites for the years that they came out. So yeah, I can't wait to see. Ty West has done a great job. Mia Goth, she's been killing it. And this one, it's supposed to take place in the 80s too, so add that on top of it. Yes, please. MaXXXine, again, another one of my favorite, most anticipated horror films of the year. All right, at number 2, we have Beetlejuice 2. Man, this movie, I feel like this has been in the works. It has been talked about for years and years, and it was almost one of those movies where I just never thought we were actually going to get this film because it was being talked about so much and just kept getting pushed back, and I just didn't think it was going to exist. You saw a lot of those fake posters online and stuff like that. But it's finally happening, and I have multiple reasons to be excited for this film. I can't get into all of them right now, but I mean, one, just having the main characters, coming back. You got Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice again, Winona Ryder coming back as Lydia, and then you got Jenna Ortega playing her daughter in the film. I mean, I think that is perfect casting. Tim Burton obviously coming back, directing the movie. So, yeah, I mean, I love the original Beetlejuice, so I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the sequel that has been in the making for a long time. And all right, number 1, my most anticipated movie of 2024. I'm sure some of you guys will probably be able to guess this one, but it is Deadpool 3. I mean, it's finally getting that third Deadpool film. Ryan Reynolds coming back playing the character. He's in the MCU now. We found out it's going to be rated R, which is great. You couldn't do Deadpool any other way. And then you also have Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine once again. I mean, wasn't expecting that, and getting to see him interact with Ryan Reynolds, they just have such a great friendship, so I think that chemistry is going to be amazing in the film. And they've already kind of teased a lot of different cameos, different characters popping up in the movie as well. If you're going to have a year where you only have one film coming out for the MCU, this is that film, man. You know, it's nice that I think that we're getting a little bit of a break and then coming back, 2025 with some more movies. But yeah, if you're just going to have one movie for the year, this is going to be the one. It's going to be a hell of a fun time at the theaters. I can't wait to check it out. And yeah, that concludes my most anticipated movies of 2024. So I definitely want to hear what your guys' lists are, because again, we're starting the year off fresh. There's a lot of movies that maybe I didn't even get a chance to see, or, just smaller releases, didn't come across them. So I definitely want to hear what your thoughts are down below. Leave me your list. And as always, guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.